Britons want anything but a soft Brexit, according to a poll that revealed Prime Minister Theresa May's controversial EU agreement teamed with Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn proposed deal are both despised by the British public. Research by University College London, achieved to shed light on the Brexit deadlock, showed that out of 5,000 candidates asked what 4 Brexit options they would prefer, Mrs May's deal was the least popular with just 13.5% preference. Jeremy Corbyn's version of a so-called soft Brexit was the second to be eliminated with 14.1% of the votes. Both options could shackle the UK to Brussels customs union and single market, with Mrs May's controversial backstop agreement tying Northern Ireland closely to the EU if no solution is reached at the end of the transition period. The other 2 options, a no-deal Brexit which would see Britain walk away from the EU entirely, and the final option to remain in the EU, were the favourites of the 2 in the poll published by The Times. Up to 51.9% would rather remain and overturn the result of the 2016 referendum, and 48.1% of those asked would happily leave the EU without a deal. Professor Christina Pagel, who led the poll, said she was surprised by the findings. She added, "This very clearly shows that there is not a silent majority for a compromise. A soft Brexit is hardly anyone's choice." The results come after the influential 1922 committee decided against ousting Mrs May again. In a bid to keep Boris Johnson from getting the role over fears he will pursue a no-deal scenario. In this event, Britain would be under World Trade Organization rules. Mrs May has again been allowed to cling on to power, though only in a desperate bid to keep bookies' favourite Mr Johnson from swooping in and taking her job. One 1922 committee member told The Sun, "Getting rid of Theresa before Brexit is done means getting Boris. Boris would mean no deal, and no deal would mean a general election, and that would be the end of Brexit altogether." The 1922 committee gathered yesterday to decide whether to change or not the rule stating the leader can be challenged only every 12 months.